Hey everyone, welcome back. Ready to dive into some serious crypto talk today. We're going to be digging into how to actually evaluate those crypto projects everyone's talking about.
Yeah, it's exciting stuff, but honestly, it's a jungle out there. That's why this guide we're diving into is so valuable. It's like a roadmap to help us find the real gems.
Seriously, because there are a lot of duds too. And speaking of gems, the first thing our source talks about is the team behind a project. Makes sense, right? Like, you wouldn't invest in a restaurant without checking out the chef's background.
Absolutely. It's one of the most important things to look at. You're investing in the people as much as the idea. You want to see a team with experience in the right areas, like blockchain, finance, even marketing is important. And not just experience, but a solid track record, too. Have they actually delivered on their promises in the past?
Right, got to see those receipts. So, no more hiding behind those anonymous avatars then.
Mm.
Transparency is key here, right?
Big time. If the team is legit, they'll be upfront about who they are, what their experience is. It builds trust, sure, but more importantly, it means they're accountable. Anonymous teams. That's a recipe for disaster that can vanish overnight.
Yikes. Okay, so we've got a solid, transparent team. They're not just some phantom developers in a basement somewhere. What's next on the checklist? Time to break out those reading glasses and tackle the infamous white paper.
Uh-huh, yeah. Get ready for some light bedtime reading. But seriously, the white paper is important. It's the project's DNA, its master plan. But like any good plan, it needs to be clear, concise, and actually address a real problem.
Totally. Our source is really big on that point. The white paper can't just be a bunch of buzzwords and hype. It has to offer a real solution to a real problem.
Exactly. No one wants to wade through a wall of jargon just to realize the project is trying to solve a problem that doesn't even exist. If they can't explain it simply, that's a red flag. Maybe they're trying to hide something, or maybe they don't even understand it themselves.
Okay, so far we've got the team, we've got the white paper,
Mm?
all looking good.
Hmm.
But now we're getting into the stuff that always makes my head spin a little tokenomics. I always feel like I need an economics degree for this one.
Aha, no worries. You don't need a PhD. Think of tokenomics as like the rules of the game. It's how the cryptocurrency itself functions within the project.
Okay, I like that. The rules of the game. So what kind of rules should we be paying attention to?
One of the big ones is token allocation. So how much of the total supply is held by the founders, the early investors, the community? If it's super centralized, that's a red flag. You don't want a system where the game is rigged from the start.
Definitely not. What else should we be looking for in these rules?
Utility. What can you actually DO with the token? Does it give you voting rights, access to special features, or is it used for transactions within the ecosystem? A token needs to have real purpose, a real use case.
Our source was really hammering home that point about utility. So a token without utility, that's basically like a digital pet rock.
You got it. It might be fun to collect, but it doesn't actually do anything within the project. That's a warning sign for sure.
Okay, so we've covered a lot of ground already. The team, the white paper, even those tricky tokenomics. But there's more to this puzzle, right? We'll be right back after this quick break to talk about the power of the community.
You know, in the crypto world, it's not just about the tech, it's about the people too. A strong community can make or break a project.
Yeah, it's like that early internet vibe, right? People coming together, building something new.
Exactly. And you can tell when a project has that kind of passionate community. Just look at their online presence. Are they active on Twitter, Telegram, Discord, all those places? Are they excited, sharing ideas, having real discussions?
Our source also talked about the importance of community-led initiatives. What exactly does that look like in the crypto space?
It could be anything from meetups and hackathons to creating educational resources, even just translating the white paper for different languages. It's a sign that people are invested. They're not just there for the hype.
Right, they're putting in the work. Actions speak louder than words, as they say.
For sure. And, you know, a healthy community isn't afraid to ask tough questions either. It's not just about blindly following. You want to see people challenging the project, holding the team accountable.
So a little constructive criticism is a good thing. It shows they care enough to make it better.
Absolutely. The best projects out there, they actively listen to their community. They take that feedback and use it to grow. It's all about transparency and that two-way dialogue.
Okay, so we've got the team, the white paper, the tokenomics, the community, all super important. But there's another piece of the puzzle here, right? Partnerships.
Partnerships are huge, especially in the crypto world. It's a fast-moving space,
Yeah.
and those strategic alliances can really make a difference.
Like they say, it's not what you know, It's who you know.
Exactly. And the right partnerships can bring so much to the table. Validation, new markets, even a technological edge. One thing our source really emphasized was looking at who's backing the project.
You mean like big name venture capitalists? Those guys actually matter in the crypto space.
Oh, they definitely matter. Venture capitalists, they're in the business of spotting potential. So when they invest in a project, it's a signal to other investors, right? But it's not just about the money. They bring expertise, connections, resources.
Like having a seasoned guide in a whole new territory.
That's a great way to put it. But it's not just about VC money. You want to look for strategic partnerships that really make sense for the project long term.
Our source mentioned something about strategic alliances. What's the difference between that and a VC partnership?
A strategic alliance, that's more about collaborating with another company in the same space. So let's say you've got a project focused on decentralized finance, a partnership with a major bank. That could be huge for them, for credibility, for wider adoption.
It's about finding those partners who complement each other's strengths, right? Building that dream team.
Exactly. A good partnership strategy should feel natural, not forced. Now, we've talked a lot about the positive side of things, but, it's just as important to be aware of the red flags.
Right. Got to keep those skeptical hats on. So when it comes to evaluating crypto projects, what are some of those warning signs we should be looking out for?
Well, one thing you really want to watch out for is, unrealistic promises. If a project is guaranteeing you'll make a ton of money or just using a lot of hype, that's a big red flag. Investing always has risks, especially with crypto.
Right. Got to stay grounded. Don't get swept up in all the excitement. What else should raise some red flags?
An inconsistent roadmap. Projects need to have a solid plan for the future, right? Milestones, timelines, all that good stuff. Think of it like building a house. You wouldn't start without a blueprint.
Oh, for sure. That'd be chaos. So what does an inconsistent roadmap tell us about a crypto project?
It could be a few things. Maybe the planning wasn't good. Maybe priorities are changing all the time. Or maybe they don't really have a strong vision in the first place. If the roadmap keeps changing without a good explanation, be careful.
Okay, so we want to see a history of them actually following through. If they're constantly missing deadlines or being vague, that's not a good sign.
Exactly. Transparency and consistency, those are super important. Oh, and our source also mentioned limited exchange listings as something to be wary of.
Right, that's where you actually buy and sell the crypto, right?
Yeah. So when a project is solid, usually they want to be listed on those big, well-known exchanges. It gives them more credibility, and it makes it easier for people to invest.
So if I can only buy this crypto on some shady exchange I've never heard of, probably not a good sign.
Yeah, I'd be cautious. It might mean they haven't been properly vetted, or maybe there are some liquidity issues. Think of it this way. Would you rather shop at a store with a good reputation or some sketchy place in a back alley?
Makes sense. Okay, so we've covered a ton of ground today. We talked about the team, the white paper, tokenomics, the community, partnerships, and how to spot those red flags. What's the big takeaway for our listeners?
I think the biggest thing is knowledge is power. The more you understand about crypto, the smarter decisions you can make. Don't just follow the hype. Do your research, ask questions, and be honest about the risks.
Be an investor, not a gambler.
Exactly. And remember, even if you do all the research in the world, crypto is still new, and it can be unpredictable. Don't invest more than you can afford to lose, and always be ready for things to change.
Solid advice. Well, there you have it, everyone. Our deep dive into the wild world of crypto investing. It's definitely complex. It comes with risks, but also has huge EE potential if you know what you're doing.
And to keep that exploration going, here's something to think about. We've been focusing on evaluating those individual projects, but crypto itself is always evolving, right? What are some of the bigger trends, the regulations that might be coming that could impact your decisions down the line? Keep those questions coming, keep learning. That's what it's all about.
Love that. All right, everyone. Until next time, stay curious and happy investing.